Happy Children's Day in Poland, yes! So it's Children's Month in Poland, aka the 1st of June, which is also the first day of all the readathons, aka the Mythica readathon and the Olympic Games readathon. If you guys don't know, I'm participating this month and I'm reading quite a lot of books for it. I have my TBR up there if you want to check it out. But I just wanted to kick off this vlog, talk a little bit about how much I've read so far and what I'm reading at the moment. So the first book I'm reading is Fortuna Sworn by KJ Sutton, I believe. Well, I started last night after 12, but I fell asleep very quickly. And then I started this morning and I read like 32% in one go. It's just so good. So if you don't know what Fortuna Sworn is about, it's a dark fairy romance. Our main character is called Fortuna and she is a nightmare, which is last of her kind. Nightmares have the ability to touch people and kind of find out their deepest fears and then make them see that and make them really scared. They're literally like nightmares. A couple of years back, her brother just disappeared, her parents are dead and she feels very alone in the world, and one day she meets a fairy who says that he has some information about his brother, but in order to save her brother she would have to marry him. It's all very dark romance, brutal fairies, and I'm loving it. But it's really easy to read. There were a couple instances in the beginning of the book that the writing style wasn't really like connecting with me. Someone said that this is like Suki and Bill romance but way better, and I totally get that. This is from True Blood, you know Suki, like she was a waitress when she met the vampire Bill. It's set in like modern times, so she's a waitress, but then everyone knows that mythical creatures exist and there's like all kinds and they're all descended from fallen angels. So I like that. I like Fortuna. She's very resourceful. Kalev, who's the dark fairy, we barely know anything from him. Like, it's hot, don't get me wrong, but they knew each other for like 2 seconds. They had like a hot making out scene. There's a reason for it, but I was just like, wow, so this is that kind of book. So in May I finished a book on the 30th and I was like, oh, I don't want to start a new book just because I don't have time to finish it. And that one day I felt so lost. I was like, what do I do with my day? I just want to read. I just want to read so bad. So I'm so happy I can be back to reading and I'm gonna be smashing through the books. Hello, it is June the 2nd and we are 66% into Fortuna Sworn. I don't have that many more thoughts than I did beforehand, but I just want to say I understand why Becca loves it so much, because she loves ACOTAR, A Court of Ferns and Roses, and this is basically ACOTAR but somehow better. Second ACOTAR mixed with the first ACOTAR, which first ACOTAR sucks anyway, so the second one is good. So it's kind of a good mishmash. I'm enjoying it. It's quite angsty. I feel like I'm a bit disappointed that the romance hasn't gone any further than it has, because I was expecting smut. And there hasn't been very much of that. I'll update you once I finish it. So it is Thursday the 4th. I've done quite a lot of reading and I think it's time to share all that I've read with you. So I have finally finished Fortuna Sworn and I must say I did enjoy it. I thought it was a decently written, interesting story and a decent romance, but I was just left wanting. I feel like I wanted more from it. The way the book's been described and also the beginning of the book and the atmosphere of the book really got me thinking there would be way more romance, a bit more steaminess maybe. I was just in the mood for that. In my previous update I said that I get the comparison between like A Court of Thorns and Roses and this, and that if you enjoy that you will enjoy this. Well, if you enjoy the first book, basically you get a shorter, less angsty, better love protagonist version here. The second part of the book just transformed into like doing certain quests, tasks kind of thing, and it was just so similar. If you have read the book, you know the last task that had to be performed, that was legitimately basically the same as ACOTAR. I'm not saying that it's complete copy or that it's a bad thing. I think if you enjoy ACOTAR, you definitely enjoy this. I think there's potential in the series. I have the second book, so I will definitely read it sometime soon. I'm sorry I don't have like super concrete thoughts. I'm just a bit disappointed because I had really high expectations and that's usually my first mistake. But I gave it 3.5, I think, out of 5 stars. But that means that I have completed the first prompt in the goddess path, and that is book with a non-human main character. So I've already submitted my progress tracker and we can move on. So now we're gonna have a little side tangent. I'm gonna talk about a book that I just finished, but it's not on my TBR technically. Oh my god, what was it called? You fool! You fool! Just finished Layer of Dreams, which is the second book in the Diviners series. This series is so amazing, and this book was so amazing. It's so good, guys. You should check it out. So the Diviners, the first book, tells the story of Evie O'Neill, who's kind of a socialite in 1920s. She moves to New York to live with her uncle, and there's a series of murders happening, and she and her uncle and a couple of friends have to figure out what's happening. On top of that, in this world, there are diviners, so these are people who have special powers. Some can read objects, some can walk in dreams. It's all kinds. The series is so amazing. It has such a wide cast. I only mentioned Evie, but she's really not the only main character. Especially in the second book, we really focus on other characters as well. So in the second book, there is a sleeping sickness taking over New York, and people are falling asleep and just never waking up. In the second book, we expand the focus of the characters, because all the characters except for one we were introduced in the first book too, but I feel like they had way smaller role, and it was really about Evie mostly. And Evie's still a main character, but there's so many other main characters, and they're so diverse as well. Yeah, there's a Jewish main character, a black main character, disabled character, gay main character, multiple POVs, but they're all quite equally important. And I've said this before, but I feel like for multiple POVs, it's hard to make all of them equally interesting, but I feel like this book does it very well. The atmosphere setting is just so brilliant. You actually feel like you're in 1920s. The author uses a lot of slang from 1920s, like that's berries and that's so swell, and like that's elephant's ears or something like that. It's so weird, just so weird. There was a lot of new relationships being developed, and just everything was expanded, and I'm just so happy I read it. Sam and Evie are my OTP. I feel like Evie is kind of not a liked character because she's that spoiled, always drunk, always partying girl, but there's so much more to her, and I just love her so much, and I love Sam so much. I think he's just such a great character. I don't particularly like Jericho, but anyway, I love this series so much. And because I have finished that one, and the next day, Before the Devil Breaks You, which is the third book in the Diviner series, just came through on Libby. I'd already started it. I'm probably about 24 minutes. I'm already 24 minutes into it. That's brilliant. These books are long. The audiobooks are all like over 20 hours long, and normal audiobooks are more like 10 hours. But the audiobook narrator, it does an amazing job. It's just one person, but she makes such diverse voices that you would feel like it's a full cast. I have a video where I recommend audiobooks, and I mentioned that there is a full cast, and then if someone in the comments said I think it's actually just one person, and now I was reading out, yeah, it's one person, but she's just so good. Alright, in other news, I have already started The Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, which fulfills prompts for both readathons somehow. And also what's just been announced is the magical readathon, like interlude Hogsmeade kind of editions. Anyway, magical readathon is a Harry Potter readathon, and then the Hogsmeade part is just something casual for the month of June, so you can just do some of the prompts and like visit Hogsmeade. The only mandatory prompt is read a book with a map. Here is a map. If you don't know what Ninth House is about, it's an adult novel from the author of Shadow and Bone trilogy, as well as Six of Crows duology, and we follow Alex, or Galaxy. Can we just take a second and acknowledge what a special snowflakes you have to be called a galaxy? Something happens and she can see ghosts. For that reason, she is invited to attend Yale, where there are secret societies, all with different affinity to magic. So there's 8 different societies, all have different powers and affinities, that kind of thing. And then there's a 9th society, aka the 9th house, and that's the house that's overlooking all the other societies, making sure that they all stick to the rules and there's no like unnecessary danger and that kind of thing. And Alex is part of the 9th house. This book has a non-linear timeline, so I'm only about 50 pages into it, and like I said, the timeline is non-linear, and there's not just present and past. There's present, there's medium past, there's past, and then past. You think it's like this, but it's like that's basically this book. I'm not enjoying it. I quite enjoy non-linear timelines. I think they're more interesting and they can be a really cool and different way to tell a story, but they are hard to pull off. I think this book is a little dense, not in a bad way. It's just some books you need to use some brain cells to read, like some brain power is required. I don't know, it takes me a while to get into a chapter and just like, okay. But that being said, I have been enjoying what I'm reading so far. It is a bit daunting how many different timelines there are, and you're kind of told which one you're going into because they're all called like early spring, winter, early fall. I feel like it's not gonna be for everyone, but I am enjoying that element of unpredictability to it. I feel like it's gonna take me a while to read this, so I have sanctioned off like how much I want to read. Maybe I'm not even gonna finish it in this vlog. 450 pages, I feel like normally doable, although maybe a bit hard. This book is a bit dense, so I'm putting like 100 pages a day goal for myself, but I feel like I've already read 2 books this month, so I'm not too badly behind. Hello, it is Sunday. I have failed massively and I didn't really read much on Friday or on Saturday. I just really wasn't feeling it. I don't know, I was just like falling asleep right away, so it wasn't really going well. But today actually was a pretty good day for reading, so I wanted to finish this book by Sunday. Obviously that didn't happen, so this I read, this I still have to read. I'm about 220 pages in, so soon I'll hit half. I feel like the book really picked up and I'm not confused anymore about where we are in the narrative. I feel like I got a pretty good grasp for the non-linear timeline, plotline. I feel like I now pretty easily can get where we are in the story. I feel like the things happening in the past are like more interesting to me, so I prefer those chapters. But that being said, I'm quite enjoying the whole book. It's not like I think some of it is boring. I find it really interesting what's happening right now. Actually, the action picked up. There were a couple scenes that were quite graphic, especially one scene with like sexual assault, so just be careful when you go into it, because I was not expecting it and it just kind of came out of nowhere. It was like, well, I knew there were quite graphic things in this book in general. It's just I wasn't expecting it to be happening right there and then, because it was just like a scene like any other scene, and then just out of nowhere I was like, what the hell? Besides that, I have been enjoying it, and I think that we're getting to know a little bit more characters than just Alex, although she is the very main focus. We have maybe only 2 other characters who are legitimately like even talking, which is a bit weird, but it's okay. So far there hasn't been that much focus on the whole secret society part. Is we were learning very slowly about it. We maybe know only about 3 or 4 what they actually do, and there's 8 of them. And I also caught up with loads of the audiobook for Before the Devil Breaks You. I'm about 36% in, almost 8 hours into it, but I still have like 13 left. I've been really enjoying it. I think this book is more of an ensemble cast because the characters get to come together. What's been happening so far feels a lot like a training montage. I'm hoping we're gonna get some answers soon. Maybe I enjoy the second a bit more at this point. That's pretty much it for this vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I never really vlogged weekly before. I had some vlogs, but they're always themed so that I get to like wrap up the book by the end of the vlog, and it's not happening right now. So if you want to know what I thought about Knife House and follow on along on my journey of reading in June, watch my second vlog when that comes out. But yeah, that's pretty much for the vlog. I'm sorry it wasn't super exciting. I am packing right now, so my room is in disrepair. Hopefully you can't really see too much from this angle, and yeah, I've just been having a difficult time kind of focusing on reading, but there are always days like this. I hope you guys are okay and you enjoyed the video, and I really would love to hear your thoughts and you have read any of the books that I've read in this video, and hopefully I will see you next week for the second week vlog. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye!